You wear your masks if you leave your seat for any reason and when you exit the stadium following the ceremony. Also, please observe 6 feet social distancing between family groups. Thank you. The processional will begin shortly.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the academic processional. Marshall. Faculty Marshall. Good evening. Please remain standing. With the Marshals' placing of the University Mace, we open the 2020 Graduate College Commencement exercises at the University of Nebraska at Kearney. On behalf of our graduates and students, the University of Nebraska Board of Regents, and our faculty, administration, and staff, I am pleased to welcome you. To begin our ceremonies, Dr. John Petzet will perform our national anthem. Dr. Petzet is Assistant Professor of Music and Director of Choral Activities. He conducts the choraleers, vocal collegium, men's and women's choruses, and teaches secondary choral methods and advanced choral conducting. He is accompanied on piano by Ms. Ruth Moore, musical assistant in the Department of Music, Theater, and Dance. Our national anthem.
So proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare from on bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You may be seated. Our thanks and appreciation to Dr. Petzet and Ms. Moore. At this time, I am honored to introduce Douglas Christensen, 9th Chancellor of the University of Nebraska at Kearney. Chancellor Christensen.
Wow. Good evening, and welcome to this historic event. Dr. Petzet, thank you for all you do on behalf of our students, for the university. We appreciate you sharing your talents today with us and your performance of the national anthem. Ms. Moore, also, we appreciate you providing the accompaniment. Every commencement is very special. Every commencement is unique, partly because of the people who come and participate. But this evening's ceremony is both of these and more. It marks a historic first for our university. It is our first ever graduate college commencement and our first ever evening ceremony. It's a product of our commitment and our strong desire to appropriately honor you and to celebrate your achievements. And our commitment is to do it in as safe a way as we can, and to do it in an environment in very extraordinary times, but to do it for you. And we're glad that you're here. We're glad that your families can be with you. Personally, I'm very proud and grateful to each one of you who showed up this evening. Thank you. Commencement's a very significant event, not only for the graduates, but for everyone who has supported them in one way or another. As graduate students, most of you have taken a very unconventional route to get here and to achieve your educational goals. Many of you, perhaps most of you, have juggled family time, full-time work responsibilities with class schedules and homework, and yes, those things that are necessary to be a university student. Some of you, like Elena Mayer, this evening's student speaker who will be addressing you in a few minutes, have literally traveled thousands of miles in pursuit of her graduate degree. Financial burdens are always an issue too, and that's why today is so important to us, to provide you with this ceremony to celebrate your accomplishments. I applaud each one of you for reaching higher, for sacrificing more, and for attaining this lofty goal. I want to take just a moment of a special note to a good friend of all of us at the University of Nebraska at Kearney, Julie Schaefer. We wish you could be with us this evening. We know that you can't. You're in our thoughts and our prayers, and we hope that you have a good recovery, and we'll see you second semester. On behalf of the faculty, the staff, and the administration, again, congratulations, and most of all, thank you for choosing the University of Nebraska at Kearney for your educational needs. Welcome.
Thank you, Chancellor. Now please welcome UNK alumnus and University of Nebraska Regent Bob Ferris of North Platte. Regent.
Well, good evening. My privilege to be here. You know, as I was thinking about this and in the midst of this season, I was so grateful that we could do this in person, and so that you had the opportunity to enjoy the recognition that you so greatly deserve. This is the season of the year when they tell us, look around, count your blessings. And you know, as I do that, particularly tonight, and I look at our staff, faculty, our students who are here to receive an advanced degree, you are indeed one of those blessings. Thank you. I know you didn't get here all by yourself. It took a lot of people, as the Chancellor was suggesting earlier, whether it's family, friends, others, the encouragement, the assistance, the help. But we are so grateful that you succeeded and that you are here. Someone asked me once, they said, since you've been on the Board of Regents, how many commencements have you been to? I really couldn't tell them. I haven't kept track. But I said, you know what? That's one of my most favorite opportunities for service on the Board of Regents, because this is what we're here for. This is what we're all about. So relax, enjoy the evening, celebrate with your friends and your family, and we look forward to what you will be doing to enrich not only your own life, your own profession, and the state of Nebraska. We're grateful for everything that you have done and look forward to what you are yet to accomplish. Thank you. Congratulations.
Regent Ferris, thank you. It's a pleasure to have you with us this evening. Now it is my honor to welcome Ted Carter, 8th President of the University of Nebraska. President Carter.
Well, good evening, everyone. What a pleasure it is to be with you here tonight for this graduation and commencement ceremony. To the family and friends and loved ones of our graduates, it's great to see you here in person. As Regent Ferris mentioned, as Chancellor Christensen already mentioned, this is truly a special night. It's a night of firsts. First time we've had a commencement ceremony like this, first time we've had one at night. So to have you here, wherever you have come from, whether you're in the state of Nebraska or traveled from afar to get here, you honor us with your presence, and all of us up here on the stage know that none of these great students would have accomplished what they did without you. As I look into the eyes of our soon-to-be graduate students, I want to just remind you that this is your night. This is your night to reflect and celebrate on the accomplishments that you have achieved. Probably been pretty difficult. And let's face it, this is a year that we've really not experienced in over 100 years here in our country, and yet you made it. You made it through variations of remote education, hybrid education, in-person education, labs, hard work, papers, working with your faculty and staff who are sitting here in the front rows, so proud of your accomplishments. This is your night. You know, as Chancellor Christensen was talking about how special and how unique this night is, I want to share with you all that this is a special night for me personally and my wife Linda, who is here, because it was a year ago today that I started as the president, even though I was president-elect for just a couple weeks, but it was December 17th, a year ago, that I came into this job. And maybe there's some sort of weird bias I have in my way for wanting to be here in Kearney. I've spent more time in Kearney than I think our other campuses, so it seems appropriate that I'm here with you on that one-year anniversary, and I'm really excited to be here with you. You know, as you sit there tonight and listen to all of us speak, you know, there's a lot of different levels of age up here. And as we do get older, some of us, we become those that reflect on history. And as you sit here tonight and think about yourself and what you've accomplished, you have to start thinking, what will I become? And I can't help but just take note of this day, December 17th, because as a student of history, it was 117 years ago, on December 17th in 1903, that two bicycle makers from Dayton, Ohio, discovered manned flight, an invention that would affect all of us. Everything from bringing vaccines to us today, every single thing that we do in our life today comes from that invention. And if you're thinking as you look towards what will you become, there's no list of challenges that you can't take on. The people that will solve the future challenges of the world, small, medium, and some very, very large, will be discovered, be overcome, will be beaten by you. So whether you're going on to further education to get your doctorate, whether you're going into a profession, whether you're going to teach, you are going to be the problem solvers of the future. And don't let anybody ever tell you that you can't do something. You know, the Wright brothers didn't even have a college degree. They didn't have it available to them. There were very smart people all over the world that knew a lot more about aviation and how to fly gliders. And yet they were the one by themselves that studied the seagulls and learned how to put a glider in the air, how to put a 12 horsepower engine onto an airplane and get that thing airborne for 12 seconds and go 120 feet. It's a remarkable achievement, and it was only 117 years ago. And yet there's so much more that you can do to solve the biggest problems of the world. So as I look forward to the future, there's many things I worry about. But what I don't worry about is what you're going to become. So challenge yourself. Do something for not just yourself, but for the betterment of your citizens, your community, your state, our country, the world. There's no limit to what you can do. You will be Lopers forever. God bless each and every one of you. Enjoy this special day. Thank you all very, very much.
Thank you, President Carter. We very much appreciate you being with us for this special occasion. We are pleased to also welcome University of Nebraska First Lady Linda Carter, who is seated to my right in section A21. Would you please stand so we can welcome you? Thank you so much for coming. I would like to acknowledge other special guests and members of our platform party who will not be introduced later in the ceremony. I ask that they stand as I call their names. Please hold your applause until all have been introduced. Also seated to my right in section A21, Nebraska State Senator John Lowe of Kearney. On the stage, wait please till the very end. We have lots of names, thank you. On the stage, Vice Chairman of the University of Nebraska Board of Regents, Paul Kenny. Student Body President and Student Regent Max Beal. UNK Senior Vice Chancellor for Academic and Student Affairs, Charles Bisek. Seated in front of the stage, Vice Chancellor for Business and Finance, John Watts. Vice Chancellor for Enrollment Management and Marketing, Kelly Bartling. Dean of the Division of Student Affairs, Gilbert Hinga. Dean of the College of Business and Technology, Timothy Jarris. And Mark Bauer, Director of Intercollegiate Athletics. And now please, let's give them our applause. The gonfalon is a traditional heralding banner that is carried and displayed at formal celebrations. Student gonfaloniers, those who carry the banners, are selected by the deans and the chancellor on the basis of noteworthy achievement, activity, and scholarship. I ask that the 2020 Graduate College gonfaloniers please stand and be recognized as I call their names. Again, please hold your applause until all have been introduced. Ladimar Ramirez, home country, Venezuela, and currently residing in Newport News, Virginia. Ladimar represents the Graduate College and is this evening's student speaker. Kendall Lee Holmes, Gothenburg, Nebraska, College of Arts and Sciences. Tana Lee Struess from Panama, Nebraska, College of Business and Technology. And Jessica Lee Schlegelmilch of Kearney, College of Education. Congratulations to our graduate gonfaloniers. Each commencement, the university's faculty and administration are invited to nominate students to speak on behalf of the graduating class. This evening's speaker is Ladimar Ramirez, whom I also introduced as our Graduate College gonfalonier. Ladimar Ramirez is an English as a second language teacher at Newport News Public Schools and a Spanish adjunct instructor at Christopher Newport University in Newport News, Virginia. Previously, she taught English as a foreign language in her home country of Venezuela, and has also taught Spanish and English as a second language in Kansas and Texas. She earned a Master of Arts in teaching English to speakers of other languages from Grand Canyon University, a bachelor's in teaching English as a foreign language from Simon Rodriguez University in Caracas, holds a state of Virginia collegiate professional license and certification in English language arts 6 through 8, Spanish pre-K through 12, and English as a second language pre-K through 12. Today, Ms. Ramirez graduates from the University of Nebraska at Kearney with a Master of Arts in Education, Spanish Education. Ladimar, we welcome you to speak on behalf of the Graduate College graduating class of 2020.
Members of the Board of Regents, President Carter, Chancellor Christensen, Dr. Ellis, and of course, fellow graduates and guests. Good evening. Almost 2 years ago, when I started an online program at a university I never visited in person, it never occurred to me that I was going to be able to overcome the nerves of being a Spanish native speaker talking to a mostly English-speaking audience for such an occasion like this. This is one of the reasons most of the time I show what I'm able to do with actions. As Abraham Lincoln once said, actions speak louder than words. Confucius, the Chinese philosopher, would say, the superior man is modest in his speech, but superior in his actions. I decided to start the Spanish education program at the University of Nebraska at Kearney because, having already earned a master's degree from Grand Canyon University, I wanted to earn additional graduate hours to reach my goal of becoming an adjunct college professor, and I was also looking for a program that would broaden and enrich my development as a practitioner. I didn't want just to fulfill a requirement. It took me time to find UNK, but I'm glad I did, because the search and the wait was worth it. My journey has been a great experience. My convictions as a long-time language learner, as a teacher, as well as a woman, has become stronger. Today, I want to thank my professors, my family, my husband, and especially my beloved daughter, my Carmen, mi nenita querida. I did sacrifice precious time with you to complete this program. Esto es para ti, mi princesa. I hope you can see me as an example of commitment, consistency, and hard work. Te amo. Completing a graduate program or any time of college program is about that. Commitment, consistency, and hard work. I recently posted something about being here on social media. One of the replies that I got said that I was lucky. It is not about being lucky. It's about working hard. And this exact moment, this place where we are standing right now, my fellow graduates, you and I are standing here right now, this is our payoff time for such a hard work. I cannot stop thinking about the students I have now and the students I have had the privilege of teaching over the years. I want to dedicate this moment to them, to my daughter, and to the young girls and women that this message can reach. I also want to dedicate this to my family in my hometown, Caracas, in Venezuela. I know they are watching now, so let's wait their internet is working. Thank you. I think life is about us persevering, being persistent and working towards the goals and changes we want to make possible. We are constantly challenged. And guess what? I have news for you. Probably you don't believe it, but this 2020 is a fact to that. But it's on us to push harder, to resist and to conquer, to have the aim to do things, even in times when we think we're hitting rock bottom with nothing else to give. We still have it on us. It is very difficult to bounce back, but we won't know what we are able to do if we don't give the effort. We are going through historical circumstances that are worse than any other times. However, us, being humans, having the capacity to push back, to make the best out of what we are given, this is a challenge, not to adapt, because if we do, we accept. And accepting, at least to me, is not part of the plan, because I feel it is like giving up. We are only the ones that can make ourselves and what is around us to improve and to change when it's possible. The size of those changes doesn't matter, because believe me, they pile up, they make a difference, they make us learn, and they make us better. Quoting Confucius again, the man who moves a mountain begins by carrying away small stones. Finally, I want to thank you for listening. I want to say congratulations and happy holidays. Also, I want to say, as a British actor, Kiefer Sutherland, as Tom Kirkman in Designated Survivor, used to say anytime when he was addressing his fellow Americans, God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Viva Academia, vivan profesores, y que viva mi Venezuela querida. Muchas gracias. Thank you very, very much.
Lady Mar, thank you. On behalf of the university's faculty and staff, congratulations on your teaching career and on your graduation from UNK. Chancellor Christensen.
Lady Mar, that was great. Thanks. And to your family who's out there watching, wherever they are in the world, you did really good. You should be very proud of where we are. I understand that you earned your degree through our Master's Online program, and this is your first visit to Kearney. Here's our major hope. It's not your last visit. You are always welcome here. We appreciate you choosing UNK, and we know that you wrote one last paper and gave one last presentation. That was your speech this evening. Grade A. Grade A. Max Beal, thank you for all you do as our student body regent, our student president. Regents Ferris and Kinney and President Carter, we're thrilled to have you here. We really are. And you can come back every year at this date, President Carter, for as long as you want to. You're also very, very welcome. Linda, thrilled to have you with us as well this evening. I've been looking forward to this part of the program for a long time, ever since we made the decision to split the commencements in order to be safely spaced tomorrow. Normally this would occur tomorrow morning, but it's a very special evening for graduate education. And I think tonight's keynote speaker is clearly the best example of dedication towards graduate education. Our keynote speaker this morning, or this afternoon, this evening, whenever we are, is Dr. Kim Carlson. She's a UNK professor of biology and advisor for molecular biology comprehensive majors. There are very few people on our campus that do not know Professor Carlson, and I think for all the right reasons. Her enthusiasm for everything UNK, her commitment to and passion for her discipline, her energetic teaching and mentoring of students in the classroom and in the laboratory, at both the graduate and undergraduate levels, and quite frankly, beyond graduation. Her extensive work and research as a molecular geneticist with a background in aging, developmental biology, and immunology, her willingness to share her research with colleagues, students, her extensive record of publications and presentations, and her willingness to commit herself to nearly any and every project she's asked to serve. It makes it very hard not to know Kim Carlson. She really is UNK. She received her Bachelor of Science and Master of Science in Education from the University of Nebraska at Kearney. She earned her doctorate in Biological Sciences, Genetics, Cellular, and Molecular Biology from UNL. In 2003, she joined the faculty here and since has made a tremendous difference in the lives of students and colleagues. It is my great pleasure to introduce to you this evening Professor Kim Carlson.
A little bit shorter than the Chancellor is. I'd like to thank Dean Ellis and Assistant Dean Bice for providing me the opportunity to speak to you tonight I'd also like to thank Chancellor Christensen, Regent Ferris, and Regent Kenny, President Carter, all the other administration, faculty, staff, students, family, and friends for being here. This truly is a special night. All I can say is wow. I was sitting where you graduates are, and while I sat there, I never once thought that I'd be on this stage giving this speech. It truly is an honor to deliver a speech that none of you are ever going to remember. As a scientist, I have proof. Go ahead, ask me. Ask me who gave the address when I got my master's degree. No clue. I looked it up. No idea. Found a lot of other things, but not who gave the commencement address. I do remember something, though, from that day. When graduation was over, my parents and I, my dad and my stepmom, we were out by the concession stand up there. And my father looks at me and he says, "Was it worth it?" I had no idea how to answer him. But after I prepared for this speech, I now do have an answer to that question. But before I get there, like I do everything, we have to take the long way there, and I have to give you some background and some context. So I was raised the second oldest of two alcoholic parents. My parents divorced when I was in the 5th or 6th grade. I don't really remember. I lived with my mom and my 3 siblings. And in the summer before my sophomore year of high school, we moved back to my mom's hometown so that we'd be near my grandparents and my mom's family. Now that worked out okay for me. I was okay with that because I was constantly being removed from my mother's house and placed in my grandma's house. This went on constantly until close to the end of my sophomore year of high school when my mom and her boyfriend kicked me out of the house. Yep, imagine it. 15 years old, come back from grandma's, your clothes are flying out the upstairs window. That's what I came home to. But I was lucky. I got to go live with my aunt and uncle, my cousin, who was more like my sister. It was probably one of the best days, best times of my whole entire childhood, with one exception. During my junior year of high school, my older sister, who was a senior at the time, wanted to go on a school tour of Kearney State College. She asked me if I'd like to come with her, and I thought, well, that'd be a really good idea. So, like good students, we went to the high school principal, and we asked her if we could have the day off of school to come tour Kearney State College. She sat there, she looked at us, she said, "You are white trash like your mom, and you will never amount to anything. So why waste Kearney's time?" Not a very motivating speech at all, especially when all your friends are sitting right there listening to it. Now, to make matters worse, a few months later, my dad called me at school and told me that when the year was over, I was coming to live with him. There were no arguments, there was no compromise, there was no discussion. Now, on the plus side, I was to be reunited with my 2 younger siblings from my mom, who were dropped off in the middle of the night on my dad's front porch. My older sister would also come to live there before she headed off to college in the spring. Now, in addition, I would be living with my new stepmother, my bonus sister, and 2 little half-brothers, my youngest brother being 15 years younger than me. So I only use those terms, bonus and half, for this story because my 3 brothers are my 3 brothers. My 3 sisters are my 3 sisters. It was an interesting year. My dad still drank. We had 6 kids, and 2 parents in a house with 1 very small bathroom. You could go to the bathroom, wash your hands, and wash your feet in the bathtub all at the same time. Okay? It was hectic, but I got really close with my siblings, and that's continued to this very day. They and their spouses and all my nieces and nephews are very important to me, and I am super proud to be the older sister to such a fine group of crazy, crazy people. So I graduated high school, and I still chose to attend Kearney State College, never having visited it. My sister was here, and I just wanted to be far away from home. 3 hours down Highway 30 was far away from home. I lived in Ludden Hall. It no longer exists. There I met my lifelong friend, my brother from another mother, Rob Lash. He's still my friend. He and I were on the Ludden Hall Welcoming Committee, and a year later, we were sitting there welcoming in the new freshmen. I saw this boy walk in the front door of Ludden Hall. I turned to Rob and I said, I'm going to marry that man someday. Now I'll tell you, Darby Carlson was not on board for this for about a year. And if you ask him, he will tell you he only gave in so that I would quit stalking him. Okay, so I also met a wonderful group of people who treated me not only like a student, but they treated me like family. These were the faculty of the biology department. My senior year, when I lost all of my financial aid because of some crazy stuff the government did, it was Dr. Linda Spesser-Schuth who went with me to financial aid to get back my financial aid so I could finish. I then went on to do my master's degree at UNK because I had no idea what it was I wanted to do with my life. And while we were here, and I was a graduate student, along with my husband. He wasn't my husband yet, he hadn't given yet. We didn't have much money to eat, so it was Dr. Doug Lund, Dr. John Hurtner, and Dr. Paul Twigg who always invited us over to eat. Now, it was on one of these nights when I was eating over at Dr. Twigg's house, I was complaining to him that my wisdom teeth hurt. Well, he had a solution, and that night I learned the difference between butterscotch and scotch. They're not the same thing, and I will never make that mistake again. It was also Dr. Steve Rothenberger and Charlie Bisek that taught me that field classes can be fun, as long as there's a pancake feed after you get out of the field. It was Dr. Joe Springer who taught me how to use that new fancy piece of equipment, the computer, to write my thesis. These faculty and many more helped me whenever I needed help. They believed I could earn a PhD. And when I told Dr. Lund that someday I was going to come back to UNK and take his job, he said, I sure hope so. So after getting my PhD at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I went to the University of Nebraska Medical Center and did hardcore research in HIV. In 2002, Dr. Paul Twigg called me and asked me if I wanted to come back to UNK to teach genetics. Of course I did. This is my dream job. But there was a problem. I had just had my son, just bought a house, and my husband said, not on your life, not right now. Okay. So Dr. Bisek, who was the chair of the department at the time, called me, we talked, and he said, we'll find a replacement for the year, you go through the application process, and hopefully we'll hire you. So, needless to say, my husband and I both returned to UNK in 2003, and we both teach in the biology department. Now, we are together 24/7, and for some reason, our offices always have to be next to each other. Currently, we're right next door to each other. Now, this works. This is the secret to a good marriage with someone that you're going to work with. It works as long as he knows I'm the boss. He doesn't have to accept it. He just has to know I'm the boss. Okay? Now, not everyone was excited for me to come back to UNK. One former faculty member said, she was so loud. Do we really want her? Well, Dr. Janet Steele had my back. She explained to this faculty member that I was loud because I was hard of hearing in my right ear. Now, I did not find this out until I was in the middle of my PhD program. I lost most of my hearing in my right ear because this was the side that my mom liked to hit me on when I was growing up. This information kind of changed this person's mind, and I'm glad I got a second chance. I guess this is a point in the speech where I'm supposed to give you some kind of mind-shattering advice or some words of wisdom. but all I can really offer you is this. Don't let anyone ever underestimate your abilities, and certainly don't ever underestimate yourself. If I did that, I would not be standing here talking to you today. If my older sister did that or took the advice of our principal, she wouldn't be a speech-language pathologist who owns her own company. In fact, if any of my siblings didn't believe in themselves, none of them would have college degrees. And yes, all 7 of us have college degrees, and a number of us have postgraduate degrees, including my brother, Mike Smith, who earned his master's degree in biology from UNK. So through the last 17 years or so, I have never doubted my choice to come back to UNK. My department chair, Dr. Julie Schaefer, went to graduate school at UNL with me. She was my friend then, and she's still my friend. I knew we'd be lifelong friends when we were TAing general biology labs at UNL. We had a lab where you had to anesthetize rats, and Julie was not going to do this. I didn't care. I said, fine, I'll take care of the rats. So she went into her classroom to talk to her class, and I went to anesthetize the rats, and apparently a long time went by and there were no rats, and she came out and the rats were fine and I was passed out on the floor. So I apparently set something up wrong and I anesthetized myself and not the rats, so she got to do it anyway. So Julie was looking out for me then, and she still does to this day. Julie, I know you can't be here with us tonight, and I'm thinking of you, but in a way I'm kind of glad you can't be, and that you didn't come here with your cooler of rotten tomatoes like you promised me you were going to. I have students who are more like family than students, such as Alexis Hobbs, who my children consider their sister, and who is now, a little thanks to me, married to Dr. Nick Hobbs from my department. I've had the pleasure of performing their wedding and a number of weddings for my former students. Yep, I'm an ordained minister. So if you're looking for someone to do your wedding, give me a call. Through the years, both my parents did quit drinking, but there were still struggles. In those times, I not only had my traditional family, but my UNK family there for me. When my mom died suddenly 2 summers ago, then my dad died suddenly 10 months later, and then my best friend in the world, my dog, died at the beginning of the school year this semester. Both my traditional family and my UNK family were there. Through everything, I always knew there was someone I could turn to. I'm so happy that my children have been given the opportunity to witness this. My son Zane just completed his freshman semester of his freshman year here at UNK, and my daughter Tori is looking forward to being a loper in a few years. A few weeks ago, I asked my friends on Facebook, what does being a loper mean to you? The overwhelming answer was the feeling of belonging to a family. Last week, I was in a meeting with a job candidate, and he asked us, what do you like about UNK? And Dr. Janet Steele answered it perfectly. It feels like home. I hope you all feel that way, not just today, but every day in the future. So looking back, I am glad I wasted Kearney State College and UNK's time and came to school here. And if I could go back to my master's graduation, when my dad asked me, was it worth it? I would say, more than anything you could ever imagine. Not only did I get a stellar education, but I am part of an extended family who will always be there for me and support me. Now, even though I earned my PhD at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, and I am a lifelong Nebraskan, I am not a Husker. I own absolutely no Husker or red gear. I am a Loper. I bleed blue. I am proud of the education I got at UNK, but more than that, I am elated that I gained the Loper family I have. So today, I would like to be the first to welcome all of you to the Loper alumni family. We will always be here for you. You can always come home. Congratulations and go Lopers.
Thank you for your commencement message, Kim. It has been my pleasure to be one of your UNK faculty colleagues. And now we have arrived at that special moment, the conferring of graduate degrees and the ceremonial hooding of degree recipients. Candidates will be presented by Dr. Mark Ellis, Dean of Graduate Studies.
Lady Mar, Dr. Carlson, thanks for those personal and very heartfelt stories. We very much appreciate them. Will the candidates for the graduate degrees please rise? Chancellor Christensen, these applicants have completed all the requirements established by the Board of Regents for their respective graduate degrees. Therefore, the graduate faculty recommends that these candidates be granted the graduate degree, along with the privileges and responsibilities that accompany the degree.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the University of Nebraska, and on the recommendation of the faculty of the University of Nebraska at Kearney, I hereby confer upon each of you the appropriate graduate degree and admit you to all of its rights, honors, privileges, and obligations. Congratulations.
Candidates, you may be seated. Reading the names will be Dr. Matthew Bice, Associate Dean of Graduate Studies and Associate Professor of Kinesiology and Sports Sciences. Putting the candidates for the College of Arts and Sciences is Professor of Biology Janet Steele and Associate Professor of Modern Languages Michelle Warren. For the College of Business and Technology, Associate Professor Gregory Benson and Professor Frank Tankerain, both from the Department of Marketing, Agribusiness, and Supply Management. For the College of Education, Professor and Department Chair Nita Unruh and Professor Scott Unruh, both from the Department of Kinesiology and Sports Sciences.
The Office of Graduate Studies is pleased to recognize the following students from the College of Arts and Sciences. Latimer Ramirez. Kendall Holmes. Hannah Struss. Jessica Lee Schlegelmilch. Alicia Marie Umasquas. Diana Williams. Raylene Candelario. Michelle Ostrom. We're pleased to recognize the students from the College of Business and Technology. Miguel Flores. Congratulations to the students from the College of Education. Jordan Marie Arterburn. Ashley J. Bauer. Amanda R. Bennett. Madeline Casper. Catherine Marie Holland. Amber D. Kazmicki. Jessica Lynn Loop. Anna Rosa McPhillips. Kelsey Joe Ostrander. Lindsay Marie Rosner. Carly Christine Runge. Haley Joe Schroer. Ryan G. Smith. Talisha Nicole Sorensen. Hannah Faith Wolbert. Alexis Lauren Wurst. Ariana Isabel Alonso. Kara Darlene Estes. Catherine Grace Hayen. Joanna M. Krennick. Sakiko Machida. James Edward Mitchell. Angela J. Palmer. Bambi Joe Sell.
Way to go, graduates. You did it. Not even a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic could keep you from completing your degrees. The UNK community is quite proud of you. Chancellor Christensen, these are the graduate degree recipients. Will you all please join me in extending our congratulations?
All right. Graduates, on behalf of the faculty, the staff, and the other students at the university, and behalf of everyone here, we are so proud of you. And you've given us great reason. Because when you're successful, we're successful. You've earned your degree. Now go use it. Professor Carlson, I have a few words that were written down to describe your speech, and they just seem really inadequate. Wow. As far as I'm concerned, you can waste our time for a long, long time. Thank you for your speech and your inspiration. I dearly appreciate that. President Carter, members of the board, thank you for being here this evening. As we close this evening's ceremony, I want to take time to recognize our distinguished faculty who've worked long and hard. This has been a really demanding semester. It's met a lot of challenges, and the faculty have done them with great expertise and great grace, and I dearly appreciate that. Would you please stand and receive our recognition and appreciation? Thank you. For many of them, they'll be back here tomorrow, but I want you graduates to know they came tonight for you, and I don't think you should take that lightly. We have a staff who helped a lot with this evening's ceremony. Planning a commencement ceremony is never easy. They've had to plan 2 of them, and during a pandemic, and they have thought of more things and worked through more problems, and we couldn't be more appreciative of our staff who has done this. We couldn't do it without you. You know who you are. Would you join me in giving me their appreciation? You know, the taxpayers of this state have provided a majority of the resources for this institution, and I think they've gotten a tremendous investment and got a return for that investment. And I wish they could all be here this evening and see the looks on your faces and those of your family, but the great sense of accomplishment and the pride and the dedication that you're going to take going forward. They are important things that you've accomplished. Please don't take them lightly. Again, thank you to everyone who's participated in this ceremony. Your future is brighter because of the efforts and sacrifices you've all made to be here this evening. I hope they follow you every day forward. Thank you again.
Thank you, Chancellor. And now, as this evening's graduate commencement ceremony concludes, I ask that the audience please remain seated until the academic recessional has been completed. Stage party, would you please stand? University Marshal Garrison and Gonfaloniers, please prepare for the recessional. Marshal Garrison will lead the Gonfaloniers, followed by the stage party, faculty, and graduates. Mr. Greenberg, University Marshal, please begin the recessional.